Hi girls, in this video I'm going to explain the concept of inline functions in C. One of the objectives of using functions in a program is to save some memory space, which becomes appreciable when a function is likely to be called many times. However, every time a function is called, it takes a lot of extra time in executing a series of instructions for tasks such as jumping to the function, saving register, pushing arguments into the stack, and returning to the calling function. When a function is small, a substantial percentage of execution time may be spent in such overheads. One solution to this problem is to use macro definitions, popularly known as macro preprocessor. Macros are popular in C. The major drawback with macro is that they are not really functions, and therefore the usual error checking does not occur during the compilation. So once again I repeat this, one solution to this problem to use macro definitions, popularly known as macro preprocessor or popular in C. The major drawback with macro is that they are not functions actually, and therefore the usual error checking does not occur during compilation. C++ has a different solution to this problem. To eliminate the cost of calls to small functions, C++ proposes a new feature called inline function. An inline function is a function that is expanded inline when it is invoked. That is, the compiler replaces the function call with the corresponding function code. The inline function is mainly used for the small programs, for small codings only. It is easy to make a function inline. All we need to do is to prefix the keyword inline to the function definition. All inline functions must be defined before they are called. Inline function is a built-in function in C++. Those functions which are declared inside the class are automatically defined as inline. The function which are static means the value of the variable inside the function are not dynamic. Only those functions will be accepted by inline functions, else the warning will be occurred by the compiler. Example, looping statement are not considered in the inline function. This is the difference between the normal function and the inline functions in C++. Here in the left side, the main function, within the main function, a subfunction is called. The subfunction name is my function of. When this function is called, it go to this subfunction and process this set of codings and return back to the main function. This is the normal flow of the function. But in the inline functions, you can see this is the main function. Within the main function, a function is called, but it is called within the main function itself. In C, functions are good from a software engineering standpoint. However, function calls involve execution time overhead. C++ provide inline functions to help reduce function call overhead, especially for small functions. This is only for inline functions are mainly for small functions, but it's not applicable for large set of codings. The qualifier inline before the function's return type in the function definition advises the computer to generate a copy of the function's code in place to avoid a function call. Multiple copies of function code makes the program larger. Inline qualifier is good for small functions only. You people keep it in mind that inline qualifier is good for small functions only, not for large one. So this is the syntax of the inline functions. To make any function as inline, start its definition with the keyword inline. Before the return type, inline keyword is placed. You have to place the inline keyword. That is the syntax. Here in this example also, this is the inline is the keyword. This is the return type. Add is the function name. Two parameters are passed. Within the function, the a plus b value is added and it is returned to the main function. So the purpose of the inline functions are it speed up your program by avoiding function call overhead. It save overhead of variables, push, pop, and stack stack while function calling happens. It saves overhead of return call from a function. It increases locality of references by utilizing instruction cache. By marking it as inline, you can put a function definition in a header file. That is, it can be included in multiple compilation unit without the linker compiling. When to use these inline functions or function can be made as inline as per programmer need. Some useful recommendation are mentioned below. Use inline function when performance is needed. Use inline functions over macros. Prefer to use inline keyword outside the class with the function definition to hide implementation details. So this is the example of the inline functions. Here in the main function, two variables are declared dynamically and the function is called here. The value of A is 23.16 and the value of B is 7.39. When this function is called, it is go to the main function, that is go to the function calling. This is the inline function. So short functions are mainly here. This is the only one statement is present here. So like that, it is also a one line function. So these functions are considered as inline functions. It will execute very fastly. And then the default argument. C++ provide to define default argument value for functions. In function definition, the default values are given. Whenever a call is made to a function without specifying any argument, then the program will automatically assign values to the parameters from the default arguments. The name itself, we can understand that default means if there is no argument is passed at that time, the default values are used while processing from the default argument specified in the function definition. C++ provide default arguments in the function call for added flexibility. Primary use of default arguments is to extend parameter list of existing functions without requiring any change in calling parameter, because some parameters are same for one or more function calling. At the time, you can use this default arguments. A default argument is listed in the function prototype and transmitted automatically to the called function when the corresponding arguments are omitted from the function call. Here, this is the example for the default argument. For example, in the main function, sum is the function name, but it has the two parameters 10 and 15. And then here, this is the function. In this function, the parameters are 3. This function, the parameters are 4. But here, when the first time this function is called, two parameters only given here. But here, in the receiving part of the function, it has the 4 parameters. So, the value of x is 10, the value of y is 15. These two variables or these two arguments are considered as default arguments because in the function calling only the two parameters are given. That means the two argument is given. The other two argument are missing here. But in the function definition, it will automatically defaultly assign the value of z is 0 and w to 0. This is called the default arguments. In the second function calling, 3 arguments are passed, 10, 15 and 25. So here, when this sum function is called, the value of x is 10, the value of y is 15 and then the value of z is 25. The last one, this is the default value here, that is the w is 0. But in the third function calling, all the 4 parameters are given. So here the default arguments not working here. The value of x is 10, the value of y is 15, the value of z is 25 and the value of w is 30. So this is the purpose of the default arguments. And then const parameters in C and C++. C and C++ supports const for read-only parameters, which is enforced by compiler. Function may not change the value of constant parameters. Constant means it does not change the value throughout the program. Here in this example, the parameter of the function is considered as constant. That means here in this function, number is the argument. It is considered as constant, but inside the function, num is equal to num plus 1. The increment is happened here, but the compile time error will occur because the variable num is declared as constant here. So this is the concept of the const parameters in C++. The next concept is function overloading in C++. function overloading refers to using the same thing for different purposes. This process of using two or more functions with same name but different argument, that is called the function overloading. Once again I repeat this, function overloading means the function name is one or more functions have the same function name but it has different type of arguments in terms of type of arguments, in terms of number of arguments too. Overloading are divided into two types. First one is the function overloading, second one is the operator overloading. Now I am going to explain you only about the function overloading. In my next topic I will explain you about the operator overloading. Now this is the example of function overloading. Function overloading means it has the same function name but different arguments or types of arguments or number of arguments. Here in this example you can see, here this is void is the return type. Function name is my function, second one is also my function, third one is also my function. So all the functions are the same function name, my function, but the parameters are different. Here you can see in the first function call there is no parameter is present. In the second function call only one parameter is given, that is the integer type. The second one is also only one parameter but the data type is different. The first one is in the integer, the second one is the float type. So this is also the same function name with different argument. The argument may be numbers, different in numbers or different in data types. The fourth one also the same function name but here it has two parameters. The first one is integer, the second one is the float. Here this is also the same function name but the first one is the float, the second one is the integer. So this is called the function overloading. Same function name with different arguments or with different data types of arguments. So two or more functions have the same name but different parameters, that is called the function overloading. Here also this is the example. Here this is the return type. Function name is max. Two parameters are given here. This is integer, this is integer. Here return type is float. Max is the function name but the definition of the function overloading is same function name with different arguments. Here the function name is max. In this example, this side of the function also the same name max with the argument are different by means of this data type. Here integer is given, here this is the float value. So this is confusion does not occur by using this same function name using function overloading. So this is the pictorial representation of function overloading. Within the main function, the value of I is assigned to 4, that is the integer type. The value of f is 3.0, that is in the float type. Here the function names are same, display, 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 but the parameters are different here. First one, this is the empty one. This is the integer type, this is the float type, this is the two parameters. So first this function will be called but all the subfunction names are display. How the matches will find means of the parameters. This is the empty argument, so it matches this. This is the integer, so this matches this subfunction call. This is the float type, so this matches this function. So this is the two parameters, so the function name are same, but the arguments are different, so there is no confusion placed here. So this is the concept of the function overloading. This is also example of function overloading. Same function name, sum. Here the two parameters, here's the three parameters. So parameters are different. Same function name with different parameters are called function overloading. So here also once again I repeat this. This is the function name display with no parameters. This is the function name with integer parameter. This is the function name with the float one. So when this function is called, this will go to this subfunction. When this function is called, first it go here, but this does not match because here there is no parameter but here there is a parameter. It go to this function but this parameter matches because this is also only one parameter but the I is in integer, this is in float. So this subfunction does not match here. And then it goes here, it will check as true. It is also a one parameter but the data type also same. So this was executed. Like that all the functions are executed in function overloading. So this is the concept of function overloading. Same function name with different arguments. Thank you guys.